WPPJ, Pittsburgh.
Check out sports bikes, classic bikes, unicycles, and even Pee Wee Herman's bike, plus hands-on activities about what makes bicycles go. It's all at Bikes, Science on Two Wheels at Carnegie Science Center in Pittsburgh. See over 60 bikes of every shape and size. And on Saturdays, there's special programming like BMX shows, unicycle demonstrations, and bike building. Bikes, Science on Two Wheels, presented by Dollar Bank. Visit CarnegieScienceCenter.com for more details.
Need to get caught up with pro sports? We got all that and then some great debates and updated info on NHL, NFL, MLB, and so much more on PM Sports.
Tune in to the new sports talk show, PM Sports, with Paul and Matt on Tuesday nights from 10 to 11 on 670 AM WPPJ.
Hey all you radio listeners, I'm Dominique Furrow, also known as the Swan Princess, and you can catch me Wednesdays from 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock p.m. Keeping it real with good music featuring new artists and new beats, good people, and good talk. Listen to Swan Princess After Dark. Download the TuneIn app or listen online, but make sure you hear me live in my magical land on 670 AM WPPJ.
Have you picked up your copy of The Globe this week? The Globe is Point Park University's student-driven newspaper, giving you the inside scoop on all the university's news. Their writers and editors are a point of Point Park's community and know what's going around campus. They work hard every week to bring you all the information you need to know about your school. Check out the newsstands around campus every Wednesday for the latest issue of The Globe, covering the world of Point Park University news since 1967.
Time for news and weather on 670 AM WPPJ Radio.
This is Zach Durkin with your WPPJ News Update. The death toll of a massive earthquake in the Philippines rose to 144 Wednesday morning. The quake, which struck Tuesday, injured nearly 300 people. Many were celebrating the Muslim holiday of Eid al-Adha. The Pacific Tsunami Center says there is no threat of a tsunami. 5 people were hospitalized this weekend in a Chicago suburb due to the deadly drug crocodile. The cases in Illinois are similar to cases in Utah, Arizona, and Oklahoma. Dr. Abin Singla of Presence St. Joseph Medical Center says of crocodile, it's a zombie drug. It literally kills you from the inside out. The drug has been spreading from Russia and the Ukraine. From our partners at the Globe. At 5 o'clock today, the Stand Up for Homeless Children, a performance art installation event, will take place in the Village Park. The event raises awareness for homeless children in Allegheny County. Volunteers will stand in silence holding a drawing of a child's face in front of their own for 15 minutes to represent a homeless child. Volunteers are asked to arrive 15 minutes early to get into position. In weather, today's high is 64 with a low of 46. Showers throughout the day. Tomorrow will be 59, partly cloudy. This has been Zach Durkin with your WPPJ News Update.
Walked Good afternoon, everyone. This is Sports Buzz. I am Michael Kravetz.
And I'm Harry Buzz.
And on today's show, we're going to get into a lot of good things. Penguin talk, Pirate talk, Steeler talk. But we're going to start it off talking about the Pirates for the last time this year.
Yeah. It's got to be done just one more time. But what a season they had.
Yeah, and just to think about, making it to the playoffs for the first time since 1992, that epic wild card game that they had at PNC Park. What was your favorite moment? What was the defining moment for you to remember them by this year?
I mean, it's got to be the playoff berth. It's a long season, and they were on fire. And you know how they say if you're good after the 4th of July, you're rolling, and they were good after the 4th of July. And I just remember getting excited, and then they finally made the playoffs. And I was just fired up. It was awesome. It was awesome to be down here, living down here, and seeing all the Buccos caps. Absolutely.
Yeah. Do you remember what you were doing when they made that last out against the Cubs to clinch a playoff spot?
I don't, to be honest.
You were watching the game, right? I hope you were.
I may have. I don't know. I can't remember if I was watching the game or not. I don't think I was, but unfortunately. But shame on me, right?
Yeah, I'll remember that. But for me, I went to a lot of games over the summer. Probably the most exciting part had to be the doubleheader against the Cardinals back in July when they took 4 out of 5 from the Cardinals in that big 5-game series, and they took first place in the division. And I was fortunate enough to be there at the doubleheader, and boy, just the crowd. That was the first time in probably forever since I've heard the crowd react that way, because they won the first game in extra innings, and then the second game, with Matt Holliday dropping a ball that went over the fence, so it was a home run. You had to love the atmosphere back then.
Oh, for sure. And I went to one of the games that just before the playoffs began. I went to one of the games, and I got to have a small taste of the crowd. We unfortunately lost the game, but the crowd was absolutely raucous, as you would say.
Yeah,
and absolutely a great turnout this season.
Yeah, so they lost to the Cardinals on the NLDS, and now the Cardinals are in the World Series. So the outlook for this team now for 2014, who do you think is going to stay?
Well, I'd like to think that the people who are really kind of up for it right now is AJ Burnett, Morneau, Bird, and Barnes. Mm-hmm. And I'd like to think that A.J. Burnett's going to stay with us, especially because it's either staying with the Pirates or he's retiring.
Right.
So what do you think about that, though?
I think that he will stay.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of how much you're going to offer him.
Sure.
Whether it be, I'd be surprised if it was a 2-year deal. I would think maybe a 1-year deal.
Yeah, you don't want to. Especially if he's on the brink of retirement, I don't think he's going to go for a 2-year deal.
Yeah.
So no. But what about Morneau?
With Morneau, a lot of people were saying there's no chance that he'll be back, but he said he wants to play for a winner, and the Pirates they'll still have a hole at first base because I think Eric Jones, his time with the Pirates is done, and do you really want to have a full year with Gabby Sanchez as your starting first baseman?
Yeah, I don't know about that, but
it might cost them a little more than they would want. But I still think that there's a good chance he could be back.
Who could pick him up?
Well, he said he did want to go back to the Twins,
okay.
But I can't see them being competitive next year.
That's a good sign.
There are some other teams out there, though, that you might be willing to pay more than the Pirates are for Morneau's service.
That's right. That's good. Marlon Bird.
No chance.
No chance of getting him back?
No.
Really?
I can't see it because he made $700,000 this past year.
That's true.
And look at the season he had. This might be his last big chance to get a huge contract. Mm-hmm. So I feel, like the Yankees. There you go. There's one team that can snatch him right up.
That's true. They do. They are notorious for poaching good players. And finally, Barnes.
I think they'll bring Barmes back because I think Barmes really likes it here. I think he'll take a huge discount. His last contract won't be that high. I'm thinking maybe another 2-year deal, maybe worth $6-7 million.
Okay.
So,
they did say that they're putting all the money that they got this season into the payroll.
Oh, yeah.
So they'll have some money to pay their players.
Yeah. And with the other free agents, Jeff Karstens, John Buck, Kyle Farnsworth, I don't think none of those guys will be back.
Right.
But, their lineup for next year, you figure they're going to have Marte in left field, Andrew McCutchen in center, First base could be Morneau, could be Gabby Sanchez, could be a platoon of that sort. Neil Walker obviously will be back in second base. Shortstop, if they get Barmas back, Barmas and Mercer, and then Pedro Alvarez at third and Martin as the catcher. So I think they still have a pretty solid lineup for next year.
Absolutely. What do you? So let's play that gamble or that gambit rather. Let's say the Pirates win the series against the Cardinals.
Okay.
What happens?
We'll play the what if game.
We'll play the what if game. What happens? Do they beat the Dodgers?
I would say yes, just for the fact that beating St. Louis in that series, getting a Game 5 win in St. Louis, I think would have gave them a lot more momentum going into the Dodgers series, and I think they would have won it maybe in like 6 games. But like we said, it's a what if. So.
Yeah, for sure. What if? I mean, the Dodgers had an excellent pitching staff, and so do the Pirates. But right now we have the Sox and the Cards in the World Series.
Yes, we do.
And we just had Game 1 last night. An interesting story from that game, though. One of my buddies texted me this morning. He's an avid listener of the show, and
always appreciate that.
Yeah, always appreciate that. Beltran, he left the game.
Yeah, he made a great catch to rob David Ortiz of a grand slam.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And he banged his ribs up against the wall.
Ouch.
So who knows how long he'll be out?
I mean, is it one of those things where it's just like one of those like, oh, my fingers hurt, or is he like, or is that as significant as it was to wind up leaving the field?
Yeah, it was definitely a significant injury.
Okay.
So.
Okay. I mean, I didn't see it, but it was one of those things where, I don't know. I don't want to call him like a
pansy,
like a pansy or anything like that. But okay. So he hurt his ribs pretty significantly.
Yeah. So and he's definitely been a run producer. Of course, he tortured the Pirates in the NLDS. So if they lose him, that's going to be a big blow to their chances.
Yeah, and I'm no Red Sox fan.
Oh yeah, the Yankees cap on earlier.
Yeah, I did have. Well, like I said, my family's from New York. I gotta be a semi-Yankee supporter, even though I don't like the way they run their organization.
Yeah, but the first game was yesterday. Red Sox obliterated the Cardinals.
Yeah,
8-1. And there was another interesting story I heard recently that John Lester, the starting pitcher for the Red Sox, might have had an illegal substance in his glove during the game. I don't know if you heard about this.
In his glove?
Yeah, and I saw the picture. There was a yellowish green. I don't know if you want to say it looks like a goo or some sort in the glove that they said it could help him grip the ball better in the cold weather. Now I don't know if there's
that is bizarre.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess there could be
super
something
glue.
there. Yeah, and there could be something there, but I don't think it really matters that much.
Velcro.
Yeah, but I don't know.
I mean, that'd be interesting to see if it actually was illegal. I mean, thinking about, baseball's got so many rules on that stuff, and so many people break them. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, but in the game, David Ortiz coming up with another huge hit in the game, as well as Mike Napoli. Both of them had 3 RBIs each, and if you had to make a prediction now, I mean, obviously regardless of the result of Game 1, I had the Red Sox winning in 6 games.
Okay.
But now, because of that performance, I'm going to say they're going to win it in 5.
Wow. Yeah, they really came out of the gate sprinting.
Yeah.
So.
And they are on a 9-game World Series winning streak. They've won their last 9 games in the World Series.
They went from the curse of the Bambino to winning, 2 World Series in...
Yep.
Or they may win 2 in how many years? 5? 2 and 5 years?
2 and 5 years.
It's impressive. It's impressive. I remember that World Series, watching that one, though. The one when they broke the curse of the Bambino.
Mm-hmm. Against the Cardinals.
Against the Cardinals. And that's another thing I live for is to see rematches in World Championship games.
Mm-hmm.
Eli Manning versus Tom Brady. I mean, it's not going to happen this year, but I think it happened 2 times in 4 years.
Yeah.
And Manning beat him both times.
Yep.
And I'm no fan of Tom Brady, obviously, being from Pittsburgh, and a semi-fan of Eli Manning. But, I mean, it's awesome to see those teams meet each other constantly.
It is.
Penguins in Detroit.
Yeah. That can't happen now.
Yeah,
so.
That can't happen now. But what a great Stanley Cup series those were in 2008 and 2009.
Yeah. But I did want to just jump back into the Pirates real quick. The starting pitching rotation, I think, will be definitely the number one question mark for next year. Who will the top 5 be? So if we both say that Burnett's going to come back, I think at the top of the rotation you'll have Liriano, Cole, Burnett will be number 3, and then 4 and 5, will Wandy Rodriguez, how will he pitch after suffering that injury last summer?
I mean, who's to say?
And then Charlie Morton, can he finally have 2 years in a row where he's consistent? And then along with Jeff Locke, who was up and down last year, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, if you had to pick one pitcher who you think could crack their way into the rotation that not a lot of people are expecting, who would it be?
I'm going to say Jeff Locke.
Okay.
I think that he's got a lot of potential. I think he's had some up and downs, but I like Jeff Locke. I like watching him play. I think he's got a mean throw, and I'd like to see him play some games. Although now what you can do is you can go on our Facebook page and you can give us opinions.
Yeah, that's right.
And who do you think is going to come out into the Pirates pitching staff and be their breakout pitcher?
Yeah, I mean, because Brandon Compton, he made some good quality spot starts this past season. Chris Johnson, a big lefty, there's an opportunity for him to compete. And if Kyle McPherson, if he ever gets back to being healthy, he could crack his way in there by midsummer. And then Jamison Taillon, the rookie, who I'm thinking will make his debut next year, probably in the summer. So, I mean, I think there's a lot of good things to look at for this rotation. And then if you take a look, especially what you said with Jeff Locke.
Sure.
I think if Burnett is back, that's going to have a more calming presence on Locke, because a lot of games last year, Locke was attached to the side of Burnett in the dugout.
And what a guy to look up to.
Yeah.
What a role model.
Yeah, and I mean, his feistiness, I think, will bring some more energy to the team.
Definitely.
But even if he doesn't come back, I still think that they'll be in pretty good shape.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of young pitchers coming up, and such as that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But anyway, we want to move on to...
you know what?
We got a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
Anything? You got anything?
Trying to think of what's been going on lately that we can talk about in baseball.
Well,
besides the World Series.
Besides the World Series.
Yeah, we didn't get your prediction.
My prediction on the World Series?
That's right, we didn't get it.
My prediction, pain, as Mr. T would say. But I don't know. I'd like to see the Cardinals win the World Series just because I go by that age-old adage of, well, first of all, I'm no Red Sox fan. That's number one. Number two, I'm a patron of the old-time adage that I wish the best for the team that takes out my best team. I almost wanted the Boston Bruins to win the Stanley Cup because they beat the Penguins. Because then what's it worth? If they get knocked out of the playoffs, because you want the team that beat you to win the World Series.
That's true.
Even though what a rivalry.
Yeah.
But at the same time, what's it for if they don't go all the way?
I mean, for me, I would just say hopefully the series would go long.
Yeah.
Just so it could be an intense series, but eventually I want the team that beat.
Especially because all the series in baseball this year have been so close.
Yeah.
And the best teams have made it, like you said, the best teams have made it all the way, and that's what you want from Major League Baseball. And the series have gone. It's been so close. Mm-hmm. So a blowout in the World Series would kind of put a damper on things.
Yeah, the ratings wouldn't be too good.
Yeah,
so.
But anyway. But okay.
So yeah, well, how long? How long do you think the series will go?
How long? All right, since the Cardinals are struggling here, I'm gonna go ahead and say, and for the sake of the 7-game series, I'm gonna say Cardinals in 7. I think they'll pull it out. We'll see what happens.
All right.
But anyway, it's 2:20. We're gonna go to our first break, and when we come back, NHL talk as well as Penguins talk and Steelers talk. Right after this, Sports Buzz.
Hey, this is Brian Bresnahan with the Lunch Buffet, where every show is a new theme. Give it a listen on Tuesdays from noon to 1 on 670 AM WPPJ.
Check out sports bikes, classic bikes, unicycles, and even Pee Wee Herman's bike, plus hands-on activities about what makes bicycles go. It's all at Bikes, Science on Two Wheels, at Carnegie Science Center in Pittsburgh. See over 60 bikes of every shape and size. And on Saturdays, there's special programming like BMX shows, unicycle demonstrations, and bike building. Bikes, Science on Two Wheels, presented by Dollar Bank. Visit CarnegieScienceCenter.com for more details. Check out sports bikes, classic bikes, unicycles, and even Pee Wee Herman's bike, plus hands-on activities about what makes bicycles go. It's all at Bikes, Science on Two Wheels, at Carnegie Science Center in Pittsburgh. See over 60 bikes of every shape and size. And on Saturdays, there's special programming like BMX shows, unicycle demonstrations, and bike building. Bikes, Science on Two Wheels, presented by Dollar Bank. Visit CarnegieScienceCenter.com for more details.
And now it's time for your WPPJ Sports Update.
This is Zach Aaron with your sports update on 670 AM WPPJ. The volleyball team is going down to Georgetown, Kentucky for the Georgetown Boneyard Brawl. They will be playing against number 23 Davenport and number 13 Bellevue on Friday. The women's soccer team will be playing their last two matches of the year as they head down to Kentucky to play against Asbury and Georgetown over the weekend. The men's soccer team will be playing their last match at home on this Saturday at Highmark Stadium as they take on conference rivals Berea at 12 p.m. The women's basketball team will begin their trek to Sioux City, Iowa for the third year in a row as they begin their season this Saturday at 2 p.m. at West Virginia Tech. And finally, the Pittsburgh Penguins will be getting a visit from the New York Islanders tomorrow night at 7 p.m. This has been Zach Aaron with your sports update on 670 AM WPPJ. Now back to your regular programming.
Welcome back to Sports Buzz. I'm Harry Buzz.
And I am Michael Kravetz.
And you're listening to 670 AM WPPJ. We just got done talking about the Pirates in their future, as well as the impending World Series final we have going on here. I'm going to get started here with my NHL power rankings of the week. At number 5, we have the Toronto Maple Leafs. making their appearance again in the top 5. They have a tough schedule, and they've been keeping pace with the big guys, such as the Pittsburgh Penguins coming up at number 4. They were number 3 last week, and they got snapped by the Colorado Avalanche. And they've cooled off a tad, but still playing very, very well. The Ducks come in at number 3. They switch spots this week. They get their streak snapped by the Toronto Maple Leafs, actually, which probably put them into the 5 spot. And the Ducks were riding an 8-game winning streak or 7-game rather. They were going for their 8th, and the Leafs snapped it. The Colorado Avalanche are staying solid for the 3rd week in a row at number 2. They're still playing very, very well. Not only that, but their backup goaltender, Jean-Sébastien Giguère, is playing his best hockey that I've ever seen him play. And, of course, the San Jose Sharks are still winless in regulation, or winless. That's not true at all. They're full of wins, 9-0, rather. Need I say more? So that's, they're not winless. That's silly.
Right.
That is silly.
That would be a pretty messed up power rankings.
Yeah, that would be. That would be weird. Okay, so the story around the NHL, for me at least, teams are either playing really, really well, or they are playing really, really bad right now. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, there's not too many mediocre teams right now.
No, it's clear to me who the best teams in the East are.
Yeah,
right now.
Penguins and the Leafs.
Penguins
and
the
Red
Wings.
Wings.
And the Wings. And obviously the best hockey is out west this year, at least to start out.
Yeah.
The Avs and the Sharks, as well as the Ducks, are just tearing it up out there. Their coaching staff and organization are probably very, very happy to see what's going on, unlike what's going on in Buffalo and in New Jersey right now.
Wah, wah.
Yeah. The Buffalo Sabres are absolutely their worst enemies. I've seen terrible penalties taken by that team. I've seen bad goals. I've seen high hits. Patrick Coletta suspended for 10 whole games.
Yeah,
I would not want to be their coach.
Yeah, I can't see them really recovering out of this hole they've dug themselves into. They're probably going to be the worst team.
Yeah,
throughout the season. So.
Probably. They've played 11 games.
1 win.
And they've won one of them. That's a shame. Corey Schneider takes over in New Jersey as the number 1 goaltender. Marty Brodeur will assume the 2 spot because of his age, obviously. Not taking anything away from the guy. He's happy to do it. Hopefully Schneider will turn it around for them in New Jersey. Ovechkin leading the league in goals with 9. Crosby with 7.
Yeah, I think they'll be at the top. 1-2 by the end of the year.
Of course. There's no question there, but the question remains is, will Ovechkin take his team to a Stanley Cup is what he really needs to start focusing on. But let's go into the Penguins games.
Yeah, they had 3.
They had 3 since. Yes, and they have a tough schedule coming up ahead of us on Friday and Saturday, rather. They have a game on Friday.
Yeah.
Friday and Saturday. Flyers. We said it was kind of going to be, a mess of a game, but it really wasn't. The Penguins really, they should have won that game.
They did.
They won the game.
Yeah, pretty handily.
Yeah, they did very well. The Flyers always play us hard, though. I think it was a good thing for their organization to play us the way they played us.
Yeah. But you saw in the game why they are a bad team. They had too many turnovers in their own zone, and the Penguins capitalized on it.
Absolutely, and that's why the Penguins are good. You make one mistake around those guys, and the puck's in the back of your net.
Yeah, they won the game 4-1.
Yes, they did.
And Fleury, you got to love his performance in that game. He's always played well in Philadelphia. So,
and now it looked close. It looked close up until the end of the second period.
Yeah, they got a big power play goal at the end of the second period. It was 2-1 at that point, and really the whole game for the first 2 periods, you thought this Philadelphia team they're going to lose like 6-0.
Right.
But yeah, that power play goal helped them. But they're missing firepower on offense.
They're missing key elements of firepower,
and they're making too many mistakes.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
I mean, I don't know where Claude Giroux is right now, but
I don't think he scored a goal yet.
His team needs him. He absolutely needs him. He's got to be worthy of that NHL 13 cover title that he took over Evgeny Malkin.
That's right.
Which was kind of ridiculous.
Oh, and I did want to bring up the 23 block shots in that game.
That's right.
So remember I said that that's going to be huge in the Penguins game. So
yeah, absolutely. And conversely, we'll get to it, but the Avalanche stifled our game with their block shots.
That's right. But hey, we got to get to the we got to get to the next game.
We'll get to it. Not going to jump the gun here.
Vancouver.
Game. What do we have in Vancouver? The first goal, kind of unfortunate for Marc-Andre Fleury.
Yeah, it was a fluky goal. You're going to get that from time to time during the season.
And that goal is scored by Alexander Edler. And that game is tied almost not long after. Crosby lights up Roberto Luongo and makes it 1-1. And then we'll take it to the second period, in which Kunitz scores a power play goal. And then a beautiful goal by Richardson for the Canucks to tie it at 2. So it was kind of back-to-back, really exciting hockey game. And Kassian makes it 3-2 in the third period. And Olli Maatta, who is here to stay.
That's right.
And how happy are you about that?
I'm extremely happy because I can just remember, when young players get a chance to stay on a team. I know he wasn't drafted this past year, but last year, you just gotta love it. It's a good feel-good story.
Absolutely.
So and I think he'll have success this year. It's not like it's going to be this game's going to be too much of a hassle for him because he already looks confident for his age.
He does look. He's got the confidence. Let's see if he can develop the swagger.
Yeah,
because he's no Thomas Hertl right now.
That's right.
But absolutely because he wasn't going to do any good for the Penguins in junior.
Yeah.
You got to utilize that talent. I think Ray Shero made a good move, putting Olli Maatta on the ice for the Penguins, and the goal that he scored really is what makes the Penguins good. And how cool to get your first goal in the NHL as a defenseman, your rookie season, from Sidney Crosby and Chris Kunitz.
And scoring on Roberto Luongo.
Yeah, and scoring on a pretty respectable goaltender, absolutely. Yeah. Fleury looked great in that shootout, and I find it kind of perturbing that Sidney Crosby kind of tries the same move against Roberto Luongo. I think he thinks that 5 holes open and available, when really that's not really the case. Luckily, the Penguins don't really play Vancouver that often. I'm not sure if they played last year at all.
Yeah, but no, they didn't.
It
was a shortened season.
Yeah.
So, but this game, it was back and forth. You'll see why these two teams will be deep into May and June come playoff time. But Sidney Crosby, we're going to keep praising him because he deserves all the praise.
Absolutely.
Back-to-back. In the Philadelphia game, he had 3 points. In this game against Vancouver, he had 3 points. And I don't think there's no stopping him, really.
No, I think he's gonna score 70 goals.
That might be a stretch, but
I'm exaggerating. But I think he is gonna be, obviously top 3 as usual for the Rocket Richard, especially if he keeps playing the way he does. I think we had a statistic. What was it? He's playing.
He's on pace for at least over 150 points.
Yeah. Do you think he's gonna do it?
No, There's always going to be some dry spell since it's such a long season. So I could see him going maybe a week where he maybe gets just like a point or something like that.
It could happen.
Yeah.
I also think that he could do it. If he stays healthy...
Yeah, that's a big question.
Because let's face it, Sidney Crosby has had one of the most unlucky careers to date.
Oh, yeah.
Very unlucky.
Yeah.
What with it getting hit by... in the Winter Classic with the concussion, that put him out for like a year.
Puck to the face.
Puck to the face in the... that didn't stop him.
Well, yeah.
But nonetheless, a puck to the face. Steve Downey plagued his career a couple of years ago when Downey played for the Lightning.
Yeah, he had the high ankle sprain.
And then he was back. I think that if he stays healthy for a full season of hockey, I think Sidney Crosby's going to do great things.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, so let's move on to the Avalanche game.
The big game.
The big game that I so desperately wanted to go to. Couldn't get tickets to that one, but it looked a little bit like the Boston series. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it did. Jaguar, he played it the best game I've seen him play in like maybe 5 years.
Yeah, he played amazingly, absolutely amazingly. And the Penguins did a lot of things right.
Yeah, they did.
The Avalanche are a bit of a young and dumb team.
This is 7 penalties. They committed 7 penalties, and the Penguins couldn't score on any power play.
Here's the thing about that. Tuukka Rask in the Boston series played out of his mind.
Mm-hmm.
He played the way that Marc-Andre Fleury should have been playing, out of his mind. And Giguère was playing out of his mind, and there's little you can do against a hot goalie like that. So I don't really fault the Penguins not scoring. If it was a Stanley Cup series, I would say get your act together.
Mm-hmm.
But it's one game, one loss, no big deal. You have enough time to think about that, and I think the Penguins needed that. I definitely think they needed that, a little bit of a reminder of what happened to them in the Boston series.
Yeah. So, but yeah, about the power play, though, would you try anything differently?
That's a good question. Would I try anything differently? Well, you mentioned putting Sidney Crosby on the point.
Yeah, I just threw it out there just because it wasn't working the whole game. So why not maybe for the last 2 power plays try and utilize him in a different way?
Yeah, I think that Jean-Sebastien Giguère was noticing, was kind of, he must have studied the Penguins' power play very, very effectively. He must have.
Yeah.
Because he was ready for every single shot that Evgeny Malkin put on him. And the scoreboard shows that.
Yeah.
There was no goals scored by the Penguins in that game. And Giguère, I mean, he almost like was foreseeing it.
Yeah, it was.
So I think when it comes to the power play, I mean, what are you going to do? You have 71 and 87 on the ice at the same time. You know those guys are going to take shots. So, yeah, I think shuffling them around. I don't often like Sidney Crosby down in the corner. I would like to put him. I mean, it would be interesting to put him at the point. He would have a lot more room to skate.
Yeah.
He could maybe try a little move to get into the high slots to get a shot on. Because his line mates are definitely capable of getting in rebounds.
Oh, yeah.
So there's that, but great goaltending, obviously, in that game. Yeah, I'm not trying to take anything away from the Colorado Avalanche by calling them young and dumb, because whatever that is, it's working for them.
Yeah,
and it's producing wins for them. And I'm sorry, you were going to say?
Oh yeah, the goal though that the Avalanche scored on the youngest captain right now in the NHL, Gabriel Landeskog,
by like 2 weeks.
Yeah. But he's coming right out of the penalty box. I had a feeling something bad was going to happen, and it was just like it was an innocent shot. I mean, it hit off Brandon Sutter, went by Fleury. It happened. So I mean, Fleury played as well as Giguère did, because
Sure.
Colorado had their chances too. So I don't want to say that Giguère played much better than Fleury, because I would say maybe Giguère played give him ranking A+, Fleury an A. So
for sure, yeah, an excellent game. I don't think Dan Bilesman was upset about that one. Looking forward, though, it's going to be interesting to see, because the Avalanche made a lot of mistakes in that game.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of mistakes, and it's going to be interesting to see if they can iron those out, because if they do, man, I think they're going to be a force.
Oh, yeah.
Especially because last year they weren't a good hockey team.
Yeah.
Or at least not as good as they are now.
Finished last.
Yeah, definitely not as good as they are now, and having a great start. And they need to get they need to get scoring, and they need to
because the goaltending won't hold up the whole year. It's gonna be at least a couple weeks where they're gonna be letting in a lot of goals. So they gotta get their offense in check if they want to stay atop the Western Conference.
I completely agree. Yeah. So Patrick Waugh doing an excellent job with them in Colorado. The Penguins play
the Islanders.
The Islanders on Friday and
Leafs.
the Leafs on Saturday. That's right, and that's a tough weekend.
Yeah, home against the Islanders on Friday, and then at Toronto. So
the first time the Penguins will meet the Islanders since their series win in 6 games.
Yes,
6 games.
And Jeff Zatkoff, I will say, will probably be starting that game, his first game at a console.
Yeah, Fleury can't start them all, unfortunately. And with our goaltending tandem issues right now with Thomas Vokoun, I think you're definitely going to see Zatkoff in net for the Islanders game, because I would definitely play him for the Islanders game as opposed to Toronto, who are hot right now.
Absolutely
hot. And I don't know who they're going to have in net against us. But I think the Islanders are going to come to play, as they always do.
Yeah, they always give the Penguins fits.
They give them fits, and I think they gave them a big fit in the playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that was a nail-biter of a series.
Yeah, Vokoun saved the Penguins.
Yeah, he really did. He really did. Absolutely. And the Leafs, are going to be deadly against us. They always play us hard. It's always a loud... It's kind of like when Steelers games are away, and you get the Steeler Nation, Toronto Nation, the Leaf Nation comes down to support the Leafs in Consol Energy Center, and so it's always a bit of a battle in there amongst fans. So it's going to be a good contest. But if the Penguins can get away with at least a win in this weekend coming up, these weekend games rather, I think they're going to be in good shape. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, so it's just about 2:40. We're going to take a break. When we come back,
going to have some football talk.
Football, let's do it. Sports Buzz. We'll be right back.
In a world where morning shows are bland and boring, one will rise above.
Zach, what are you doing? Were you trying to use your big boy voice again?
I just wanted people to listen to the morning show on WPPJ, 670 AM.
The one from 8 to 10 every weekday?
That's the one.
Yes. I'd like to hear it, Hal. Sing it for me.
Check out sports bikes, classic bikes, unicycles, and even Pee Wee Herman's bike, plus hands-on activities about what makes bicycles go. It's all at Bikes, Science on Two Wheels, at Carnegie Science Center in Pittsburgh. See over 60 bikes of every shape and size. And on Saturdays, there's special programming like BMX shows, unicycle demonstrations, and bike building. Bikes, Science on Two Wheels, presented by Dollar Bank. Visit CarnegieScienceCenter.com for more details. Check out sports bikes, classic bikes, unicycles, and even Pee Wee Herman's bike, plus hands-on activities about what makes bicycles go. It's all at Bikes, Science on Two Wheels, at Carnegie Science Center in Pittsburgh. See over 60 bikes of every shape and size. And on Saturdays, there's special programming like BMX shows, unicycle demonstrations, and bike building. Bikes, Science on Two Wheels, presented by Dollar Bank. Visit CarnegieScienceCenter.com for more details.
It's now time for your WPPJ Music Update.
This is Nathan Canan, your WPPJ's production director, with your concert calendar for the month of October 2013. October 2nd, Daughter at Mr. Smalls. October 3rd, Bayside and Motion City Soundtrack at Altar Bar. October 4th, Sleigh Bells at Mr. Smalls. On the 8th, 9 Inch Nails. Also, Soul Asylum at the Altar Bar on the 8th. October 11th, Life in Color at Stage AE. Also on the 11th, Pearl Jam kicks off their fall tour at Console Energy Center. On the 14th, AFI at Club Zoo. October 16th, Taking Back Sunday at Stage AE. October 22nd, Minus the Bear at Mr. Smalls. October 25th, Humphrey McGee's at Stage AE. And to finish it off on Halloween, The Devil Wears Prada at Stage AE. This is Nathan Canan, your WPPJ production director for the month of October 2013.
Not to think about love, but to see the way you play. I have taken a vow. Now I want to hear you say, are you trouble at home? If I make no hesitation when you ask me not to think about love, I don't think about love. When I see you kiss another, it won't matter at all. No, I won't hold to its power. I have given it up, and I've seen the final hour. When I tell you I don't think about love, I don't think about it, and I won't sing about it now. I promise not to think about love. I don't think about love. I don't need the incantation. I have given it up, or I had my reservations. Were your friends there at home? Did they offer consolation when I promised not to think about love? I don't think about it, and I won't sing about it now. I promise not to think about love. Promise not to think about love. Promise not to think about love. Promise not to think about love.
Yes, that music. It's great for football.
We got some new beds for the bed is what you hear behind the voices. So hopefully you like that.
Yeah.
We got some new tricks up our sleeves here at Sports Buzz, and we're back.
Yeah. So now we're going to talk some football because the Pittsburgh Steelers have now won 2 in a row.
Woo!
They defeat the Baltimore Ravens by the score of 19-16, backed by 4 field goals by Shaun Suisham.
That's impressive.
Yeah, this game, when I was watching it, I didn't feel, all the times the Steelers play the Ravens, you feel like these are like huge games, and you're pumped up to watch them.
Uh-huh.
I didn't feel that for this game.
I agree with you. I do. I disagreed with you a couple of days ago when you said that, but now I kind of thought about it, and I do agree with you. I kind of just watched the game, but it was one of those games where I thought, okay, you got to win this game.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
You just got to win it. Let's get a win. Ignore the Ravens thing, because it's more fun. The rivalry is more fun when the Steelers have something to lose.
Mm-hmm.
They have nothing to lose right now, except more football games.
Oh, yeah.
and that's not what you want. So it was one of those like, okay, let's get this win, and then we can get back on our feet here. But I don't think that the crowd in Heinz Field necessarily will agree with you. I thought there were a couple of shots that the cameras got of Heinz Field, and people were fired up.
Yeah, they were. Because, this was... It was a must-win game for both teams because the Ravens were struggling too, so they needed to get a win. So, but just, I don't know. I think when they meet for a second time on Thanksgiving night, it'll be definitely a different atmosphere, I think.
Yeah, and the game on Thanksgiving, nonetheless, it's going to be really, really cool. I will be enjoying that over my turkey.
But yeah, in this game, the Steelers, they got off to an early 7-0 lead, something they haven't done in most of the games this year. And then Baltimore was only able to answer back with field goals. The Steelers go up 7-3, then 10-3. It's a 10-6 game at halftime. I expect it to be a low-scoring game, but I didn't think Baltimore would go without a touchdown in the first half.
Yeah, I think you got to hand that one to the Steelers.
Yeah, the defense.
They did well.
Yeah, they played well.
They did absolutely play well, and to have them score a touchdown to go up early in the game.
Yeah, that was huge.
Very, very big. And you mentioned last time that we want to stop relying on Shaun Suisham. You do, but at the same time, he hasn't missed a kick.
Yeah, 14 of 14.
And he's got 4 of them for us in that game, as you said.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I think there were several instances, especially I think it was in the third quarter or very early in the fourth. Remember, there was that strange thing that Mike Tomlin caught. That the refs
he challenged.
He challenged it, and they took time. They put time back on the clock for the third quarter, and that's something that's really cool about Mike Tomlin too. He will not miss a beat.
Yeah,
talk about a guy who knows the game like the back of his hand,
mm-hmm.
and he does his homework.
And then they only got a field goal on that drive. They could have got a touchdown. So.
Yeah, but I think there were times, and I think it was especially I think it was the very beginning of the fourth quarter when Ben was running for a first down, and he had some major room to truck through a couple of guys
mm-hmm.
to go for the touchdown. He had the room, but he took the slide, and I thought that I thought he could have made it. I mean, what do you think about that? You think he's trying not to get hurt, or is he trying? He's a big man.
Yeah, I think with the record that it is right now, I think he has to start taking some cautionary measures.
Well, that's fair.
Yeah,
that's a fair statement. But other than that, fluid play calling.
Yeah,
you like to see that in a rivalry game.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of trick plays. I thought there was bad coaching on the Ravens' part.
Yeah, going for that onside kick.
Yeah, weird.
That was real iffy.
Not only that, but there was they ran out of time on the play clock.
Yeah, after they called a timeout.
Weird.
So I don't know. I don't think it's going to be a problem for them moving forward. But I guess just being in this type of atmosphere at Heinz Field maybe got to him a little bit.
Maybe. Let's hope so.
Yeah.
You're going up against a team that's 1-4.
Yeah.
I hope that some element of that still exists in Heinz Field.
I think it will, just because now they're on a streak. So, and yeah, getting back into the game, the second half, Baltimore didn't get their first touchdown till like the last 5 minutes of the game. They really gutted the Steelers' defense on that drive. I believe it was a 16-play drive. Flacco only incompleted. He only had one incompletion, and at that point, 16-16, a minute 58 to go in the game. So, are we going to have one of those patented Roethlisberger 2-minute drills at the end of the game? And he came through.
Sweet.
Yeah, and Suisham, 42-yard field goal to win the game. there really wasn't a whole lot to dislike about the Steelers' performance.
Except for the maybe the lack of touchdowns.
Yeah, that's probably just the one thing. I mean, I think they are second to last in the NFL with red zone conversion rate. I think they've been in there about 16 times, and they've only scored a touchdown.
If you want to be
a couple times,
if you want to be a winning football team,
yeah, you got to find a way to pound it in the end zone.
I completely agree. Yeah, so Suisham having a great year.
Yeah,
absolutely. So do you agree with your earlier statement of relying
stated
statement that you had stated that one day? Do you think that we keep relying on Shaun Suisham the way things are going?
If they want to make the playoffs, no, because they have to find a way to get touchdowns.
I agree.
Suisham, yeah, he can be relied on to make extra points.
Oh, sure,
not field goals all the time. So, but yeah, the Steelers, they got a huge division win, much needed. They're now 2-4, only a half game back now. The Ravens for second place. So just when you thought the Steelers' season was over at 0-4, they're right back in it. Now they go on to play the Oakland Raiders on Sunday,
and they haven't gotten a win there since '95.
Yeah, it's been that long.
What do we got for them in that game? What's going to be the key element?
The key element, Terrell Pryor is the quarterback for the Raiders, and he's very mobile. He's a dual threat quarterback, so I think it's going to be a little tough for the defense.
Yeah.
So I hate saying it, but this could be it might need to be a high scoring game for the Steelers to win.
Yeah, and you talk about touchdown conversions. We're going to need them in that game.
Last year they lost 34-31. It was a different quarterback for the Raiders. But, Pryor's starting to come around now. And he grew up here in Pennsylvania. Grew up a Steelers fan, so that might play into it a little bit too. But I think it could be a really high-scoring game.
It could be.
And, we've seen high-scoring games.
Oh, we've seen so many
in
of
the
them.
NFL.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, do you think we get the win?
I do. I think they'll win.
That is a bold statement. It's tough to win in that stadium. I want them to do it. I'll say so. I'll say they'll win it.
Yeah.
Just because they need that third win, and they seem to be getting their act together a little bit. I think they'll find a way. Hopefully they do.
Yeah, hopefully they get that win, because then they got to go to New England the following week.
What, we've never beaten
Tom Brady in New England.
Yeah. That's going to be an interesting question. Are we going to beat Tom Brady in New England after we beat Terrell Pryor in Oakland?
It depends on how they. I can't say now because they have to play Oakland first. So depending on how they perform in the game,
sure.
But definitely Le'Veon Bell will be a huge factor if the Steelers want to beat Oakland, because he had his best performance as a Steeler against the Ravens, 93 rushing yards. And as a team, they had over 140 rushing yards. That's the most they've had since November of last year as a team. It's hard to believe it's been that long, because the Steelers, are a run team.
Yeah, they are.
A run-type team. So it's nice to see him. I think he'll finally crack 100 over Oakland. And then on the defensive side, even though I still think it's going to be a high-scoring game, you got to hope that they can at least somehow pressure Pryor, because they only sacked Flacco once by way of Lamar Woodley.
That was a heck of a sack.
Oh yeah, it was a pretty powerful sack. He brought him down pretty hard.
Sometimes that one sack that just looks unbelievable. I mean, if you heard the crowd, they absolutely got electrified when Flacco was sacked, and one sack, maybe did it for him. Mm-hmm. It's like a fight in hockey.
Yeah.
So anything to fire up the crowd, fire up the team. That's what you're going to be looking for there.
Oh, and I did want to mention, 3 players that I want to single out that were really good against the Ravens. William Gay.
Oh, my gosh. He played such a good game.
Willie Gay all the day, every day.
Just make that up?
Yeah, had 2 big pass deflections in the game. Guy Wimper, who did not see any snaps at all prior to the game. He was their 6th offensive lineman. And, with all their injuries, you thought he would have at least played by this point, but no, he just got in when Gilbert went down, and he played a heck of a game.
Yeah.
So Guy Wimper, if he makes a surprise start on the line in Oakland, I think he'll at least provide some protection for Ben. And then the last one, Lawrence Timmons, 17 tackles, and he broke his hand.
Wow.
I think about midway in the third quarter, he broke his left hand, and he was able to still be a force. So and don't worry, fans, he will be playing against Oakland.
Well, that's good.
He'll have a cast on his hand, though, so have a big club. So
he'll be hitting people with
yeah.
that.
So yeah, just if they can just keep getting these players to bring some a new spark, I guess. If say if Ryan Clark has a big game, they need to have different players step up and have huge efforts on defense. It just can't be the same player all the time.
Absolutely. So, but lest we forget, the Baltimore Ravens are Super Bowl champs right now.
Yeah, Super Bowl hangover.
And we beat the Super Bowl champs.
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
Yeah. That's a bit of a morale booster in the locker room, I'm sure.
It is. Yeah.
Not only are they your rivals, but they were the champs.
Yeah, and you got your first win in the division.
Yeah, definitely.
But, okay, now I will be going to the primetime performers.
Prime time.
Week 7. Coming in at number 5, we just talked about him, Shaun Suisham. 4-4 in the field goal department. He kicked a 42-yarder as time expired to give the Steelers a 19-16 win over the Baltimore Ravens. Number 4, Andrew Luck, the new Peyton Manning in Indianapolis. Went 21 of 38 for 228 yards passing and 3 touchdowns, and also added a rushing touchdown to the game as they go on to hand the Broncos their first loss of the season, 39-33.
A little bit of an upset there.
Yeah, it was. Coming in at number 3, Matt Forte, running back for the Chicago Bears. Even though the Bears lost 45-41 to the Redskins, he had 16 carries, 91 yards, and 3 touchdowns, so he had a big day. Coming in at number 2, A.J. Green, wide receiver for the Cincinnati Bengals. They won the game. Might have been because of special teams. They won 27-24, but he had a huge receiving day. 6 receptions for 155 yards and a huge touchdown catch. And then number 1, probably never heard of him. I mean, I have, but to all those common knowledge NFL fans, you might not have. Roy Halu, running back for the Washington Redskins. He is their backup running back. He only had 11 carries for 41 yards. So you're saying, why is he on number 1 on the list? He had 3 touchdowns.
Wow.
And that was a high-scoring game, obviously, against the Bears. And when you have a backup running back you can bring in, get all those touchdowns, that's saying something about your team.
That's impressive.
So there you have it. Those were the primetime performers of Week 7 in the NFL.
Sweet. Who's the team to beat? The Bengals.
Oh, yeah, the AFC North, as much as I hate to say it, because I don't think that they're that good of a team, but in that division, they're the best.
Yeah, we've got grimaces here in the station here right now. Yeah, we don't like to say that about the Bengals. Yeah. But yeah, and the Browns are coming down a little bit off their high.
Yeah. Brandon Whedon just played a horrible game against the Packers, so Jason Campbell will be starting next week. And the Browns, 20 quarterbacks they have gone through since they came back in 1999. 20. That is sad.
Wow.
Considering the Steelers, I mean, they had their stretch where they went through a couple, but that's just bad.
That is very bad.
So I don't. Yeah.
Poor Browns.
Yeah, poor Browns. Although Pittsburgh fans won't have any sympathy for them.
No sympathy here for that. But yeah.
Yeah, but so that'll do it. We're just about out of time.
Indeed, we are.
So on next week's show, we'll be talking about the Penguins' big games over the weekend.
And they are going to be big games. Make sure you tune into those. Make sure you check us out on Facebook now and like our page.
And also check us on YouTube if you happen to miss our show.
You can find the link on the Facebook page.
That's right.
And we will be broadcasting from there as well. You can post your comments, you can post your opinions, and maybe we'll talk about a few of them on our show. And hopefully we'll have a Twitter page soon.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll bring one up. Yeah, we'll get one.
Yeah, so we'll do the whole 9 yards for you guys.
That's right. So I just want to thank everyone for listening.
Thank you very much.
And we'll see you next week, 2 o'clock right here on 670 AM WPPJ Sports Buzz.
Get